Hi, Daddy.
Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
On June 16th, 2018, a show designed for you, the Daily Commuter, went live. A weekly show all about faith. A show with motivational topics, inspirational stories, and personal testimony set out to change the world.
Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin. Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hi, I am Mia, and you are listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Can you say have faith, let it begin? Huh? Yeah. Yeah? Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
Let it begin?
Again.
Say have faith.
Again.
Let it begin.
No.
No? Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. Today, we are continuing may end up being a three-part series entitled Friendships Can Last a Lifetime, but Can Also End. Today, back in studio, I'm very happy to announce is my best friend, Brian, of 25 plus years. Brian, thank you for sticking around and doing part two of this three-part series.
This is something we always talked about doing, and it's about time we get it done.
I agree. So with that being said, for those of you that missed yesterday's episode, you have to go back because we left you on a cliffhanger. But we also have to clarify a storyline because Brian was kind enough to remind me that I was off on the story, and that happens. So we're gonna take it back a little bit. Now we left you off with Brian and I having a face-to-face encounter, but we have to take it back a little bit. When Brian and I were back and forth on the phone and things weren't making any sense, he had changed. His attitude had changed. He was had become very, very quick. He couldn't be on the phone long. And for those of you that don't know, Brian and I can talk for 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes my whole commute home.
Yeah.
And I started to realize that things were getting bad. So at one point, we have another mutual friend, and that's my brother-in-law. We decided to check on him. I'm gonna leave it to you now. You take over from here.
She was already living there. Hold
on. I'm sorry. Let's give her a name, a fake name, so that we have a name to go with.
Bambi.
Okay, let's go with Bambi. All right. Go ahead. So Bambi had moved in.
Yes, I allowed her to move in, and actually, this is like a year later. This is after your wedding, because I wanted to get to the heart of what happened, where our friendship took a turn.
Well, we hadn't talked as often. There wasn't a huge breakup, so to speak. We just stopped talking because I was getting upset because you weren't reciprocating the conversation.
You were telling me I would maybe talk to you every 3 months, and you were looking out for me, and I tried to tell you things were fine, but I couldn't talk.
Right.
I felt very uncomfortable.
Right. So walk me through what we missed out on last episode. We missed out on we got together. My brother-in-law, I didn't get permission to use his name. So my brother-in-law, you and I got together, and you told us that she had moved out.
Yeah, that I had moved her out.
Okay, let's not get ahead of it. So when we got excited, we were happy for you. We asked you how your apartment was. You said it had been like pretty much trashed.
Yeah.
So we decided to come over and give you a makeover. And we cleaned the entire apartment, which for the record wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough that it needed to be cleaned.
Yes.
So we spent about 6 hours working on that apartment. I remember at one point going into one of the closets and I saw a ton of clothes that were not yours.
Nope, they were not.
And I said to you, hey, what is this? And you said that they were her clothes. And I says, well, throw them out.
And I couldn't do it.
And I was like, all right, fine. Who cares? You know, it's not like she's coming back, but whatever. So I didn't think anything of it. We left it there. We cleaned the rest of the apartment. I went and got you some video games that, so we can play video games again. I got you some games to play, Left 4 Dead
Yeah.
and another game. And I also bought you a toaster oven.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can laugh about it now, but it's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. Well, they'll understand why you're laughing. So, so now a couple days go by. We're talking, and then I realized the phone call. She was back. And that's when it came out that she had never actually left.
Well, it's not that she never left. She was at a place. I paid the rent for the month, and she was supposed to get a job, and I still was involved with trying to even get her to jobs.
So when I found out that, and this is where we're going to get into disagreement, I'm sure, that you lied and basically said that she was gone, I felt as if you had took advantage of my kindness. And my brother-in-law, who also gave you money, we gave you money, took offense to that. And he cut you off and pretty much cut you off since.
He did. He actually was still talking to me while you weren't.
Okay. Well, he cut you off first.
He was giving, no, you cut me off first.
Well, we haven't got to that part yet. But okay, so let me, all right, again, when we found out, we were all ticked off.
Yes.
Okay, let's use it that way.
My family.
Yes, I set up an intervention.
The intervention. I gotta laugh about it now, but
okay, we can laugh about it now, but and that's healthy. So I set up an intervention. My brother-in-law, my wife, now, and your sister, your mom, God rest her soul, and you came in, and we surprised you with an intervention, which did not go very well. You stuck up for Bambi, and you said you had it under control, and your mom, I remember your mom being very upset. I don't want to get too much into that because I know it's a touchy subject because she's no longer with us, which we'll cover later. But that's when I knew that you were in deep trouble because I knew you weren't gonna. At that point, I thought I had it in the bag. I mean, I had your sister there, your mom was there, everybody was crying. I even threatened to go to your job. I remember and have you lose your job. I mean, that's how mad I was.
You really went to help my situation, but I understand why you wanted to do that.
I was trying to scare you and you know, to tell you that you needed to move away. So I remember showing up to your apartment. This is why we're laughing. And I knocked on your door and I asked for all the items that I provided you with.
Yep.
I took all the games back. I took the toaster oven back.
You forgot one thing though.
What?
The Foreman grill.
Oh yeah. I gave you a Foreman grill.
I still haven't used it.
Oh really?
But I want to use it one day. Yeah.
So I never used it anyway. So but and then that was it. Then
the WCW book. The WCW book you took back too.
Yes. I took everything pretty much that I needed that I thought you had that
was the wrestling thing. I remember that was like our bond. It was like
Now we get to the point where a couple of days later, your mom's in the hospital and we meet up and there's the face-to-face. Now we've caught up to everything.
Kind of, but I'm telling you, the last time we talked on the phone, it was the last time we talked because it was after my mom was in the hospital.
Yeah. I just remember that when you said that to me that your friends that, you know, to leave us alone, and you said it in a phone conversation and then in person, I wanted to hit you so bad. And I'm not one of those people that do that. If anybody knows me, I'm a pacifist. Is that the right word? I don't believe in violence, but I got really to that point and I was at work. So thank God I was at work because I knew that if I threw a punch, I would have been fired. So I
would have probably still tried to protect you.
Yeah. I walked away and I cried and I said, that's it. I lost my best friend. I lost my brother. But now let's talk about the reality. What I didn't know. The floor is yours.
Oh God, this is so hard. I was just, I was manipulated. I was used for money. I received money and it basically disappeared. And I don't want to say where it went to. You could kind of take a guess where it went to. I didn't get as bad as the person I was with, and I really don't even want to use a name. But people didn't see what I was going through behind the scenes, basically, and I left everyone out of it, my family included. And they had their little intervention, which worked a little better. And it got to the point where she was actually almost getting along with my family because they knew I was dealing with it. I was taking the person to work. I was taking them back. I was taking them to get things I shouldn't have been taking them to get. That's all I could say about that. But I was emotionally, physically, mentally abused day to day.
And I did not know any of this because
No.
I'd been gone. One of the things that's hard for me to hear when you say that is that I thought by deserting you and leaving, it would wake you up and you'd come back.
I didn't come back.
But you didn't come back. And in reality, what I did was wrong because now you had no one to rely on but her.
Yeah, I had no one to rely on. I mean, I can rely on my family. Not that I didn't trust them. I still took my mom to doctors. And then that girl made things hard for me, even take care of my mom, but I still made sure to take care of my mom. But it just got really bad where my sister hated me, but she dealt with me because my mom asked my whole family just to don't forget about me.
So while I've been away, we're going through holidays. What happened? Like where did things get out of control for you with her?
They were always in control. I just learned more and more about it. And then I just got to the situation where I had to take this person to work. I had to pick them up. I had to take them where they needed to go. I would come home from work. My money, my paycheck would be gone. I'm still having trouble to this day because of this. And I'm still trying to fix things.
And the thing about it is, for those of you that don't know, is that Brian was a saver. Brian was somebody who always had money in his savings account. Like any one of us at one point or another, if you're single and you're home and you have one income coming in, a lot of us are on paycheck to paycheck. Thankfully, before the third party, we'll call it third party for now because you don't want to use a name, got involved, you were still kind of struggling a little bit, but not to the severity that she took you to the point where you had to.
I had to take money out of my pension. I had to rob of my future to survive my present so I could live in the future. If that makes sense.
You also had to give up your Xbox. You had to pawn.
I had to pawn my Xbox more than once.
And then, this is where the lesson comes in. Let me pause for a second. God has a really weird way of helping mothers. I don't ever advocate or say that God punishes people because I don't believe in that. But unfortunately, if it wasn't for your mom being in and out of the hospital, it probably wouldn't have, I don't know where we would have been today. Because as your mom would go in and out of the hospital and you'd call and I'd get you, you would remind me that she was in the hospital, which I loved your mom.
Yeah, I love
very
her.
much. And I went to visit her many times to pray with her. And she would cry to me. She would tell me that she was afraid of her son. She was losing her son. And she would beg me to forgive you and to learn to be a part of his life. And that's when I realized at that point, now we're talking 7-8 months in, maybe even a year in, after having so many sit downs with your mom in the hospital, that she was teaching me that I wasn't a good friend, that I was not doing the right thing by God, and that I wasn't practicing what I was preaching, which is forgiveness. So I had to learn to forgive.
But you also have to realize I had to reach out to you.
Yeah, it went both ways. I'm fair. I can admit to that. But I think for me, I'm able to look back now and say, well, that I wish that I would have done things differently.
Well, no, I understand that. I just remember Yes, you were always going to see my mom, and I was always calling the hospital. I was always talking to you, but I wasn't calling to remind you, hey, my mom's in the hospital. I'm like, hey, listen, I need to talk to my mom. You
Yeah.
just get me to her room. And I was trying to be as cordial, but there came a point where I had to call you and like, I said, listen, we have to meet. I have to see you in person. And that's when things got real.
Yeah. Your mom started to get worse. We thought many times that your mom was going to leave us. And even then, as spiritual as I was with her and your sister, I still was not willing to forgive. I was cordial in front of your mom, but that was as far as I went. If I walked out of that room, I wasn't even thinking twice about you.
I know.
And that's tough. That's tough to talk about. Walk me through when, we don't need to get detailed. You obviously were physically, emotionally abused. But walk me
Mentally
through,
abused.
walk me through when you were to that point where this is the last straw. I need help.
That was probably when I had to go to eviction court.
So let's talk about it. What happened?
Because I kept on loaning the girl money and stuff, and it just got to the point where I was taking money out of my rent to give her. It got that bad.
So I remember this. So let's just put it this way so everybody understands. So when your rent would be due, you didn't have it. Then you
No.
would endure a $50 surcharge or late fee.
Yes.
This went on for how many months, or is it a year maybe?
At least
Okay, it was a long time.
It was a long time.
It was a long time. So much that you were so behind from late fees that now you're literally like 4 months behind in rent. So you would pay when you got certain money, but
I was still paying something every week, but I was so behind. It was
it was
not
literally
making much of a
mathematically
difference.
impossible for you to catch up. So you got an eviction notice.
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
It's not even the first time, but the first time it ever happened, I was trying to use the money from my security to cover, and this is in a different place in Middletown at one time.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that, but this was just so much worse because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be homeless. I can't live with my family.
So, this will probably be the only time I will get political. If it wasn't for the election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, we probably would not have met up. But we met up because we kind of were laughing at the way the debates were going, and I had just got back from my honeymoon. That was a year later. I was on a cruise, and I came back, and your mom was sick again. And a debate had just happened, and we decided to go to a diner for the first time. We would be sitting.
It was in May.
Yeah,
it was close to my birthday.
Yeah, and we sat down in the diner, and I told you that I, forgave you, and that I wanted to help, and I offered you help. At that point, you looked horrible. You're miserable. Your hair was not even in, like you had not gotten a haircut.
Unkempt. That was the best way you could put it.
You ate like as if you had not had a good meal in a long time.
Yeah.
I treated you. And then you did something that really ticked me off. You said you were going to save the meal for later because you only ate half your meal. But I knew that other half of the meal was still for her.
No, but here's the thing. At one point she was kind of moved out, but her stuff was still there, so she would still stop by whenever she wanted to, basically, because she didn't have a key, but her stuff was here.
Yeah, but the meal that I paid for, you only ate half of it because your intention was you were going to bring it home.
No, she wasn't there at the time. That was my other half.
Okay, you bring it home?
I didn't have a lot of food in the house, so I needed to save food for when I got home.
Okay, so there you go. The truth comes out.
That's why I was able to get out of the house in the first place, because there was no one there.
Yeah. So now we start talking a little bit more, and she came back into the picture yet again. But this time I decided that if you couldn't talk, I would talk to you as long as I could and let you know that I was here to support you.
Yes.
And I think that's where things started to change. And I remember the conversation when I started to cry. And I don't want to get emotional, but I just basically said that I miss my brother, that I was having a lot of good things happen in my life, and I could not share it with the one person that I wanted to share it with. And it was
And I miss
killing.
all those moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still don't know some things that happened. It was almost like 2 years
Yeah.
that we were on and off, even having any kind of communication with each
We
other.
had no communication technically for almost a year. With
At
the
least.
At least. And then the second year was on and off, on and off.
Unless it was my mom was in the hospital.
Right.
So it's still somewhat see you.
So what we're going to do is we're going to close out this episode. Is there anything you want to add before we close out about everything? Maybe if you want to share with somebody. I'm getting a glare. Let me move my camera because the sun is coming for the Zoom version. But tell me if there's anything that you wanted to share with anybody out there that's either dealing or have dealt with, just this type of interaction with somebody that you think that you care about. And
if you see someone sinking and you've been there for them, you got to stay with them. Because I've done some bad things in my life. I mean, we all had, but I'm basically a very good person. And I do have a heart of gold. And I do care more than people do know. Is that okay to say?
No, I want you to say what's from your mind and from your heart. We don't have anything scripted here. But I want you to talk about, or maybe have a message for anybody that's been bullied, who has been treated the way you were treated. We're gonna end on a positive note, because the next episode is going to be a positive one. But we want to get real. When you're picked on, when you're abused that way, it sticks with you. It
does. But I'm just so sad to the fact that these days someone gets picked on. It's not just getting picked on in person. It's cyberbullying. There's people that have committed suicide over that. And I wish they were strong. I'm stronger than I think, because you think I would have done something like that. But no, I'm a survivor. I want to live. No matter how bad things get, you just got to keep going.
So today being Wednesday, tomorrow, which is Thursday, will be June 3rd.
You can say how old I'm going to be.
And we're going to end our series tomorrow on Brian's birthday, because we're going to share with each and every one of you that when we really finally realized that the third party was gone, officially, really gone.
We can tell a story how that happened.
Yeah. Brian's life began to change for the better. So we're
better
going
and for the worse. You got to remember, certain things happened right after things started getting better.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and we're gonna end on a very positive.
It's not going to be a good birthday. You need to do 4 episodes, because I don't feel like my birthday episode's going to suck too. You're talking about bad things still.
Well, maybe we'll skip some of that, but we'll elaborate a little bit, folks. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. I know these are some long episodes, but it has to be told. The story has to be told. And this is something that Brian wanted to do. I wanted to do. Wanted to clear the air, and we hope that friendships do last a lifetime. We hope that all of you get something out of it. Yeah, maybe you don't get the story. Maybe you sit back and going, I don't care about hearing these two guys' story about this bro love story of how these two guys got stopped talking for many years. But it goes deeper than that. It talks about never leaving a person behind, never allowing yourself the opportunity to leave the person that you have been dedicated to for decades. And even at their lowest of lows, even if you agree to disagree, or the person chooses not to listen, and the other person chooses, even if the person chooses to be stubborn like I was, you don't leave a person behind. You have to be there with them no matter what, because they'll need you at the lowest of the low. And just because you're going through it doesn't mean they're not going through it. You're doing it together, just maybe in separate situations, but at the end of the day, you need each other to get by. So we'll leave you for this. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed this second part of this 3, maybe 4-part series. For Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel, and I will leave you with this. May God be with you. May he shine his light upon you and grant each and every single one of you peace on earth. And never forget, have faith, let it begin. 3 years ago, on June 16th, 2018, Have Faith, Let It Begin went live. A weekly show
All About Faith, a show with motivational topics, inspirational stories, and personal testimony set out to change the world. I'll never forget when I hit that record button and did my very first episode, entitled Stealing Your Joy. It has been 3 years, and now it is time to give back. And on June 18th, 2021, we will be live for our very first ever primetime special, audience edition, and all of you are welcome to join. It'll be held in the Zoom fashion. You can also join us on an audio-only format. We're asking all of you to email us, angel@halffaithletitbegin.com, so that we can begin the process of sending you a personal message, a personal password, so that you can join us at 7 p.m. on June 18th, 2021. We hope all of you will join us. We cannot wait to celebrate 3 years in the making. And on behalf of myself and my entire family, I say this: thank you, and I cannot wait to meet all of you for the very first time. We'll see you then. Don't forget, have faith, let it begin.